Hello and welcome back to the Carweekpodcast. This is episode 2. In this episode, we're doing motorsport, which is more than we did last week. We've got car news again, new cars, and another car debate. So, let's kick it off with the motorsport.
Right, yeah. In the past 2 weeks, there has been the German Grand Prix and the Hungarian Grand Prix, and what I can both say for both of them, crazy Grand Prix. Well, Germany was the crazy one, and then just an amazing Hungarian GP.
Has been
always on the edge of your seat for both of them. But let's first start with the German Grand Prix. Not a lot to note from qualifying too much. Just your average F1 qualifying. The only things really to note is the failure from Ferrari with Vettel and Leclerc. Both Vettel not setting a time at all, so he started P20, and Leclerc starting P10. He got to Q1, then got out of the car due to some mechanical failure. I don't actually know what the failure was, but he didn't set a time, so he's starting from P10. Hamilton was on pole, Verstappen second, Bottas third, and Gasly, I think he only got fourth because the two Ferraris weren't actually in the mix at all. I mean, what can we say about Gasly, for God's sake? The man... I had so much hope for him when he left Toro Rosso and joined Red Bull. I mean...
That was his big leap. Vettel, madness.
Oh, mate.
Absolute madness.
We'll get on to where he finished in a minute, because there's a kind of a bit to get through.
Between that.
So obviously, they started behind the safety car to start with. They did a few formation laps on the safety car. I think it was 3, which counted the laps down. Which then the stewards then rightly decided, because every driver was shouting at him to start on the standing start. They did a standing start. Verstappen got away horribly. So did Gasly. Allowed Hamilton and Bottas to just run away. It looked like it was just going to be another Mercedes trouncing, another 1-2 for them. But then it all sort of kicked off on lap 2 with Perez spinning and crashing into the wall, which I was a bit surprised about, because Perez, a wet race is normally his bread and butter. He can normally get a podium out of it, especially with the two Ferraris as far down as they were. It was looking like he was probably going to get...
going to thrive in that.
It looked like he was going to get a midfield team on the podium, which we did, but it was all up in the air for who he was going to get. But Perez is normally the one to sort of come out on top. And then after that, you had Carlos Sainz. Everyone was getting caught out with this. Was the drag strip going onto the first straight?
Yeah.
Because it was full of rubber from where he was obviously doing drag racing. With the water on top of it, it became an ice rink. He started sliding on there. He was one of the first to nearly drift off and find the wall.
Note the first, because...
The first of many. Yeah, he nearly found the wall. And then after that, Ricciardo retired. Another engine failure, which annoyed me, to be fair, because... did you hear their reasoning for it?
No.
They gave him the old engine, so this one had done about 6 or 5 races or something like that. And they was like, oh yeah, we don't care because we feel like he'll get a better placement at Hungary.
Oh, so they just wrote off that race?
They pretty much wrote it off. He retired.
Basically keeping a newer engine for the second half of the season.
Which didn't help him anyway, because he qualified. He didn't even make it out of Q1 at qualifying.
Which were Ricciardo.
Q3. I can't remember.
Very depressing to see.
Oh, mate, I just want him to win.
I just want him to get his championship.
He deserves it at this point. And then lap 27, another retirement. So I think this is the 3rd retirement of the race. It is Lando Norris. He retired due to a gear sync failure and losing power, which is unfortunate because we all love Lando Norris here.
Everyone loves Lando.
The milkman. We all love him.
The milkman.
Meme lord. And then this what kicked off everything really. Lap 29, Leclerc crashing into the wall at the very final turn. I have to admit, I was very sad because he was on pace to win it. He when he pitted for fresh inters, he was 3 seconds quicker than Lewis Hamilton when Lewis Hamilton was leading. It was looking like Leclerc might have got his very first win of the season, and he binned it in the wall.
It made me really sad watching the onboard cam because he's so angry and he's like, come on Charles, get it out.
Mate, he needs a win. He's got so much pressure on him being at Ferrari as well. He just needs that win. He's had 2 pole positions. He should have won in Bahrain, but he got out of it because of
his engine
failure. And then obviously Verstappen just came through with a madness victory in Austria, but yeah, he was on pace, and I just want him to win that. He needs that first win just to give him the momentum for the rest of the season. Now I think he's getting very, like at Bahrain, he got very frustrated when he crashed into the wall. He just needs that win to get him in the right mind state, I think, now.
Because he's really fighting now.
Oh yeah,
because it was the way he crashed out. Because this one wasn't due to him doing anything. It's just he had hit a wet patch and sort of the back end.
There was nothing he could do.
No, yeah, he got a bit of oversteer on that wet patch, and it just sent him. And the minute he got on that drag strip, the way he was facing,
gone.
he was done.
He tried to counter steer, but
he wasn't going to move anywhere. He had no grip.
Sort of like
and then on the same lap, Hamilton come round and then crashed 5 feet up from him.
which is. And the fact that he saw Hamilton bounce and get back out when there's nothing Charles can do sitting in his car.
It was all to do with the way Hamilton actually hit the wall. Where Charles went in, he went in more front ways.
Yeah.
Hamilton went in more sideways, bounced off the wall, and had the momentum to keep the wheel spinning and keep moving. But as you can see in the picture, if you're
on YouTube,
on video listener, but for audio listeners, we've got a picture of Lewis Hamilton in the wall. He knocked off his front wing, and he's on slicks at this point. And then he says to the team he's going to dive into the pits, but he's already gone past the commitment cone.
Mm-hmm.
So he drives across the grass, dives into the pits, and has, I think, a 1 minute pit stop. But because he didn't go around the commitment cone properly, they gave him a 5-second time penalty, and that was just the start of the bad stuff for Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, because Mercedes just really dropped it that race. Because when Hamilton dived into the pits, they were actually expecting Bottas to go in. So they didn't have the tyres or front wing ready for Lewis when he went in.
Yeah.
So that's why he was sat there for ages. They're just running around getting the tyres. They got the wrong set of tyres and then got the correct ones.
If you see footage of it, it's literally them looking at the car thinking, "Oh, there's a car in here now. What are we meant to do?" And then you see everyone barking orders at each other, trying to get the right tyres. And then
one thing I do want to take note of. The wall is a Mercedes-sponsored wall. The Ferrari went into it and got stuck. The Mercedes went into it and carried on.
They got that extra bounce.
Cheating.
They put the bounce in the wall for him. Yeah. But did you hear the reason why they think they did so badly at there? Because obviously it was their 125th Grand Prix, or
years of racing.
Sorry, they put the new livery on the car. So they got the half and half livery, like we can see in the picture.
Yeah,
and video
German
listeners
racing
can see.
white and
Basically, they was all wearing flat caps, suspenders, and everything.
Yeah, I saw that in the pit.
Yeah, and Toto Wolff basically came out and said everyone was not on the ball. No one was really. They was all too busy celebrating 125 years. They didn't actually focus on the race. So that's what they're putting it down to at the moment. But I can sort of see. I mean, yeah. And then lap 41. Who have I got? Right, okay, yeah, I'll figure this out now. I didn't write it down on my notes. But in the picture, the same video listeners can see, we've got a picture of Nico Hülkenberg. He's sliding into the wall. He was in prime position to get a podium. I think he was 4th or 5th when he slid into the wall. Again, like Charles Leclerc, he hit the drag strip. But instead of braking, or instead of not pressing anything and just letting the car settle itself, he decided to hit the brakes. And at that point, everything locked up. Yeah. He lost all his grip, and he just slid straight into the wall, making it a double Renault dropout and costing Nico Hülkenberg possibly his very first podium.
Which he deserves.
Because
he's been going for so long, he needs it really.
Yeah, because doesn't he have the longest streak of never having a podium in F1?
He's never had a podium ever.
Because every time he's got close, something's gone wrong. He's stacked it.
Oh yeah, I think the closest he's got was 4th with a Force India when he was racing for them. But I don't think he's never got any higher than that, which is a bit sad because he's a great talent. And if he got there, this was his chance to really prove to Renault and everyone else that he is a top talent. Because he's got Daniel Ricciardo as his teammate now. He really needs to prove that he is this person that everyone thinks he is. Because everyone sees him as a champion in waiting, but he hasn't really had the chance to prove it too much.
Yeah,
now with Ricciardo as a
teammate,
he needs to prove it. And then after that, lap 45, everyone was on the inters. The track was starting to dry up. Racing Point, they decided to pit Stroll, their last remaining car, in for some softs. In doing this, gave him the lead of the race because the track dried up, the conditions were a lot better.
Yeah.
After a couple laps, everyone saw that and saw what the Racing Point was doing, and dived into the pits, and he was leading the race for Racing Point, which is a madness. I can't really understand
That's
it.
the only
but
way
it
to
happened.
describe it, yeah.
And then lap 57 went bad to worse for Mercedes. Bottas crashes after the first corner. I don't know why it happened. I couldn't remember. Didn't see the onboard.
I watched the bit about where it was going from wet to dry conditions. You can see the dry line where they basically have to train track their way around the circuit.
So they have to hit the one dry line that's going. Yeah.
And Bottas's back left tyre just went a little bit onto the wet patch, lost grip, spun out and straight in the wall.
Yeah. And that's all she wrote for Bottas, which I feel sorry for him because it's looking like Ocon's going to have his seat next year.
Which I am secretly happy about.
I'm happy about, but I feel sorry for him. He just never got it. He was all right at Williams. He was doing really well. I reckon he probably needed another year at Williams just to sort of get himself going. And then he could have gone to Mercedes. But
it was more of Mercedes was like, we need a replacement now because Rosberg's decided I've had enough. Bye.
Yeah, Rosberg retired after one championship because he couldn't race
Lewis
Hamilton anymore.
It was too much of a strain on him.
Yeah, he just couldn't do it. And then after that, we had lap 62, Gasly and Albon collision. I don't know if you saw the onboard or anything. Gasly's gone round the corner, Albon's in front of him.
Yeah.
He's gone to go underneath him. But instead of turning the steering wheel like a normal person to get underneath him, he's probably moved it about 5
Oh,
inches.
so he's just gone straight into him.
Oh, he's just basically driven straight into him and cost himself, I think it was 8th, when he should have really been about 3rd or 2nd in that Red Bull, considering his teammate was leading the race and then eventually won the race. I don't know. I'll just Gasly, like I say, I'll just give up with him now. I loved him when he was in Toro Rosso. P4 at Bahrain, and he's just gone downhill.
Yeah, because I think because when Gasly was being interviewed at the British Grand Prix, because then he had actually somewhat felt comfortable in the car. He ended up saying that the question he got was, do you think the team's building a bit more around Verstappen? He just goes, oh yeah, it's quite obvious that they're building around him because the car works for him, but it don't work for me.
But why wouldn't they build around him when he's given them all their results?
Yeah, but you would want both to... As a team, they would want both cars up there, so
Yeah,
I would
see
think
that.
build
both cars up there,
evenly.
but when you've given the guy the car and you've believed in him this far into the season and he's not giving you any good results...
When you could give that effort into someone you know is going to provide solid results.
Yeah, and win the race for you.
It does sort of swing it around, but at the same time, though, like it has been said, he has just sort of dropped it at the minute.
Well, he needs to go. What I think he needs to do, he needs to voluntarily go back to Toro Rosso, build his confidence back. So he has no confidence in the car whatsoever.
Yeah,
build his
Bit more
confidence back with a
experience.
car he was comfortable with. Probably either put. I think they'll put Kvyat or Albon. I don't know which one they want to put in, but they'll put one of the two in. And he just needs to build his confidence, and then once he proves himself again with Toro Rosso, come back harder and better with Red Bull
And prove himself.
and prove himself again. But I don't know if they'll give him that chance. They might do. I mean, look what they've done with Kvyat. I mean, the man got P3 in this Grand Prix, we've got to say. But
Germany. That was pretty good.
I don't know. And then after that, there wasn't too much else other than Kvyat on the podium for Toro Rosso. Their second ever podium.
For Gasly's seat.
Their second ever podium, that is Toro Rosso. The only other one they got was a win in Monza with Sebastian Vettel. Yeah. And then Vettel, the man we haven't mentioned as far yet, P20 to P2, a great race.
Madness.
He sort of got lost in the middle to start in the middle of the race. He didn't really make any gains. He didn't move anywhere. But towards the end, he came alive. P2. And then
Speaks for itself, doesn't it?
And then Max Verstappen, great drive, won the race on 5 pit stops. 5 pit stops. And then I'll quickly have a mention. Both the Alphas that were in the points, they got 30-second time penalties due to the wrong torque measurement being put on their cars. So they had illegal torque measurements for the race.
Yeah, so they could control the wheel spin a little bit more on the wet.
So basically they got bumped out of the top 10, promoting Robert Kubica, getting Williams first ever point for the season, and I think it might be their only point, unless George Russell has a
Because
madness.
George Russell is doing really well in that car now.
he
Considering he's putting
deserved
it-
the point.
Considering like what in qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix, he managed to get the car nearly into Q2.
Oh yeah,
This is
I watched
position
the
out.
lap. He had a great lap. He qualified P9, but obviously he was the first across the line.
Mm.
Then everyone else came over, and he was like, "Back down you go, Williams. See you later." Yeah, that was it for the German Grand Prix. The Hungarian Grand Prix. It was a great Grand Prix. Not a lot happened other than watching the front two duke it out for nearly the entire race, which was amazing.
And also both the Toro Rossos wheel to wheel
Yes,
for
that was
4
amazing.
corners.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was great and all.
And that was really fine for Gasly's seat.
Yeah.
that was.
So Gasly be
They,
coming
bo-
for
they
you.
both know they're fighting for Gasly's seat at this point, so they're
Mm.
just going to make a race of it. The only thing from qualifying is, well, two things actually. Leclerc's crash in Q1 into the barrier didn't damage the car too badly. They just chucked him-
Surprisingly.
Surprisingly, I don't know how it didn't do any worse than it did. He
The most it
shunted
did
so
was,
badly
was
into
just
that barrier.
break the rear wing a little bit.
Yeah, and they
Replace
just
that.
chucked a whole new rear wing on him. He was like sorted. And then Max Verstappen getting his first ever pole for in his career, which he was a long time coming.
Mm.
He missed out on becoming the youngest ever pole sitter. He could have done that last year at Mexico, but Danny Rick qualified above him.
Mm.
But yeah, fair play to Max Verstappen.
He's doing bits.
Yeah, he nearly won that race as well, but Mercedes strategy call on lap, what was it, 49, sorry. They called him in. He was on the hard compound tyre. They dropped him onto the mediums, went all the way to the end and caught Verstappen, overtook him for the lead. Yeah, and then other than that, Bottas, a really bad first lap again. He went down to
Oh,
P20,
poor Bottas.
got some front wing damage with a collision with Leclerc, and yeah,
That was that.
I think this has pretty much spelled the end for Valtteri Bottas. I don't see him at
yeah.
Mercedes next year, and that's pretty much it for the Hungarian GP,
The motorsport of the week.
and that is the motorsport.
Right, Jared is coming in next with a bit of car news on.
On the Renault Megane RS Trophy R.
Renault fanboys, sorry, what?
I did it because I find it interesting.
I saw a Mark 1 Twingo
Oh,
and
lovely.
I screamed. I was like, what?
you and your Renault Mark 1 Twingos, for God's sake.
So is this 2019, is it?
Yeah.
What's coming out this year?
So
Looks good.
so
To be
yeah,
fair, I'll let you off, it looks
to
nice.
start off with, this car is the one above the standard RS,
Mm-hmm.
which you get you've got 3 different option packages that you can go for with it, which is you've got the just classed as the standard one for this car, which will cost you £51,140, and
Oh, so it's cheap then, basically, is what you're telling me.
not really, but then yeah, with that all you sort of get is Renault Sport who've taken over the project have done like a load of weight saving and everything like that, so that makes it about 130 kilos lighter than the normal RS,
Yeah.
and like
Well, that'll
you
make
get
a
what you
difference.
expect where a car's been developed on Nürburgring, like Brembo brakes, Olin's shock
The whole
absorbers,
shebang.
and
I
a lot
assume-
of carbon.
Can I assume that has basically no interior, no back seats, and that's about
Actually, the interior's pretty full.
it? Is actually? Oh my god! I thought
Um,
when you said it was weight saving
oh, I didn't actually
130
find a picture.
kilos, I thought that's it. The interior is going to
No.
be a seat and a steering wheel,
You
and that's
can-
about it.
You can roughly see through that
For
picture.
video listeners, we'll have the picture coming up.
But for audio, basically, it has got a full road interior with I think it's Sabelt carbon bucket seats, just in case.
Oh.
But then, like, yeah, so the second pack, option pack that you can get for this car will cost you £63,000, and you
Oh.
get carbon alloy wheels that that the most that you get out of that is it reduces the unsprung weight by about 2 kilos.
What, having the carbon wheels.
And then
Any weight savings a goal.
then just in case you have a
For the
lot
money.
and just in case you got a lot of money to spend on a Renault,
Which I don't.
you can spend £72,000 with the Nürburgring record pack, which is allegedly set up the same one that set the new hot hatch lap record,
Oh.
which the most information I found about that is it includes 390mm carbon ceramic brakes with gold finished calipers and straight feeder dynamic air
French.
intake.
Due to this pricing, Jack, it's back to Renault Twingos for you.
But for just the specs of it in general, it has the 1.8 litre turbo from the normal RS. Do 0 to 60 in 5.1 seconds. And just some
For a
stuff from
hatchback.
like
That's actually really good for a hot hatchback.
then it's like
It looks
But
nice. I think it looks really good. It's
Yeah.
wide.
To be
It's
fair,
got
I
some
like-
good aero.
It does look really
The
nice.
diffuser.
That bump,
Yeah.
if you look at that bump, does it not remind you of the A class of like 2015?
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
It looks really
The
nice.
little vents on the side.
Yeah.
no, then just some extra bits I found out about it. For all of this Renault Sport and the parts that it's got, I've made track focus Bridgestone tyres for this car, and like I mentioned, my bucket seats from Sabel allegedly did the lap record in 7 minutes.
Allegedly.
Oh,
He said when I was researching, it was just a constant alleged, so I'm gonna go for alleged.
we can't tell them that we've done it in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Allegedly,
I reckon
we did
that
it in 7 minutes.
Yeah,
That was
so,
after the Lamborghini incident, wasn't it? Where they did the fastest lap and no one seemed to see it. For some reason.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
did the fastest lap, we promised. Do you have a video of it? Nah.
What's the
mate.
video?
the tape got lost. Yeah, you see? Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, so allegedly you did the lap in 7 minutes, 40.10 seconds, beating the lap record set by the current Honda Civic Type R, which did it in 7 minutes 43.8
Boot
seconds.
that piece of shit off the thing.
Oh.
Mate, why
yeah,
would you
but
buy a
take-
lawnmower?
Take it as you will. I quite like the car.
I like the
I
car.
like that. I just hate Honda Civics. Okay.
It's
Thanks
it's
for
a
the
good-
relevant hate.
Mate, he said it knocked off the lap record, and that makes me very happy.
Yeah,
Okay.
Honda's
He likes it
pretty good.
even more.
I would buy one now if I had 50 grand to spare.
But yeah, that's that. It's quite nice.
Yeah, no, it is
It's
nice.
a
I think
very
it's a
nice
good
car.
looking car. It's a Renault.
But I guarantee the
Not
minute
very
you try and drive that
expensive.
around the just around town or anything, just because of how the suspension is set up for going around the Nürburgring, it's like
Yeah.
any small bump you're gonna feel it going
Yeah.
straight through your back. And it's like, no, can't do it anymore. Gonna have to drive it really fast and try and hope.
Who's driving it around town though? Realistically, let's be honest.
Let's be honest, you're
You
really
spent
not,
70
are you?
grand on a Renault Megane and you're not going to be driving it around town, are you?
Nah, I'll let you off
I
on that
would.
one. To be fair,
Okay, time for some new cars. And the first one we're starting, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's the Lotus Evija. Evija.
what is it with Lotus and some really weird names?
But
Can you not punch your mouth?
essentially,
I accidentally knocked it.
the story goes that Lotus received some cash from their investors to come up with this new car. It's full electric hypercar, 1,972 brake horsepower.
Jeez.
Yep, capable of over 200 miles an hour. There's only going to be 130 of them, and I expect to be 1.7 million. It's the lightest electric hypercar in production. Well, when it comes out, it will be. And also has a driving range of 250 miles.
That's not bad.
Which
For
for
a-
a hypercar,
I was gonna say for a
on
hypercar,
one
that's quite
charge,
good.
is everything going electric?
Well, everything's gonna go electric at the end of the day.
Eventually.
Sadly.
One thing they did say though is 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, and I mean a lot of the hypercar supercars are competing in under 3 seconds now. So I think they need to be a bit more specific to make it
Well,
worth the money.
I'll say, the thing is with electric cars, because they have that initial torque on them,
yeah,
I would have thought they'd been a lot faster, especially for a hypercar electric car.
That's
I would've thought-
1.7 million and
I was say I would have thought
the
they'd been like,
lightest.
it come out, yeah, this is our hypercar, it's electric, it does a 0 to 60 in 1 second.
Yeah, 1 second.
1 second, there you go.
Now the next new vehicle is something which.
You did not mention that interior, actually.
Oh yeah, sorry. The Lotus's interior is. It's a bit of a madness.
What is that?
I'm getting Sesto Elemento vibes from the
is.
seat.
I
The
was just about
steering
to
wheel
say
is
that.
very wide.
Does
like
that
the
remind
back
you of the
car.
Vulcan one? You know, where it's like meant to be
Yeah.
the racing
Yeah.
feel steering wheel.
Yeah.
And it's got some weird column in the middle. But yeah, no, the next thing is not a new car, it's a new vehicle. which I've snuck it into the Car Week podcast because I think it's worth mentioning. And what it is the Engler F.F, and it's the world's first super quad.
Super quad.
If you're
They're not
listening on
saying
audio,
anything.
head over to the YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Carweekpodcast, and have a look at this. This, it looks different.
Yeah, if you want to do your own research, it's the Engler Engler F.F, and it's a super quad. And I mean, it doesn't look like a quad bike, does it?
I don't quite know
It
what
looks
to
like a
say about
spaceship.
it.
Oh, you're not ready for the specs though.
I'm just not ready to look at it. It looks hideous.
I don't know
It
about
looks
the
like
handlebars.
when Peugeot were doing their concepts of sports cars and they all looked really weird and flat.
I mean, it's not a car.
It looks like a car. I'm half expecting someone to sit either side.
Yeah,
But you sit in the
that's what
middle
I was
of the
so
hand.
confused about. I thought it was like a concept car, like a one-person seat in the middle, and I looked, it said super quad. I was like, there's super quads, but I mean, it's the world's first, and I don't know if you're ready for this. Top speed of 217 miles an hour.
You're just gonna fly off the back.
on a quad bike.
You're not even
Which
gonna stay
isn't
on
a
the
quad
thing,
bike,
though, are
but-
you?
It gets better. 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds.
Well, let's beat that Lotus then.
Yeah. Imagine 0 to 60 with you're exposed complete. You're holding onto handlebars.
That's what I say. You are not going to stay on that thing. You're going to fly off.
Like,
It
what's
gets
a motorbike
better,
when
though.
you can wrap yourself around the bike?
800 horsepower. 800 horsepower in a super quad.
Is
You're
it
not going to
electrical
outrun a
or
farmer on that
petrol?
then.
Well, this is the thing. Do you think it's electric?
I'd imagine so. Yeah.
Do you think it's electric?
I have no clue.
5.2 litre V10
Jesus.
in a quad bike.
Oh God.
You're definitely not outrunning a farmer
You're,
this time.
you're literally going to have like a
Oh my
5-point harness just strapping you down everywhere to that quad just to keep you on it.
I think Jared's just come up with their promotional thing. Imagine seeing that, but in a farm. Like the background where it's got the Engler in the front. The super quad.
But like someone's already put
The
it on like
sheepdog
off-road
on the
wheels.
front.
A little
Lifted.
Oh.
Some man's go through your field. Don't worry, use your V10.
Use the V10 to catch him.
But it is just crazy. Carbon everywhere. It looks. I don't know how to describe it.
I just don't like it.
The amount of carbon makes it look like a Lamborghini.
The wheels as well. I think it made.
Oh, the
look
wheels
like a
look
Lamborghini.
amazing, to be fair. But the rest of the body just looks. I'm not.
It looks like it's got a lot of stuff missing.
It does, doesn't
It's,
it?
it's just missing a doors and a roof, and you're like, what have you done?
But it's like, isn't that? It's not a car, so there's no dash, but there is no dash, whatever it is. Like, did you see anything?
Nope.
It's just, no.
You have to guess your speed.
You said it's the first super quad. It could be the
Yes.
last super quad in my mind.
What if this is a benchmark? What if
Everyone's
manufacturers
riding,
start making super quads?
everyone's riding around in super quads on the motorway, just,
I'd love to see super quad racing.
Oh God, no.
Jesus, that wouldn't be dangerous, would it? Open cockpit, like, well, it's not even a cockpit, just open. You're just sitting on it.
4 deaths per year just because everyone's getting run over. They fly off going into the first corner. Boom.
What I'd like to finish talking about the Engler with is, Engler, if you're listening, we want to try the super quad. I want to see this thing in real life.
I mean, I've slated it, but I would like to give it a go. to
Oh
start
yeah,
with.
forgot to mention power to rate ratio of 1:1.
Oh.
Yeah,
Not bad.
Fair enough.
I want to give it a go.
That is still
I mean,
scary.
you're
though.
saving on the dash,
I just wanna
steering
see it.
wheel, and everything else.
Yeah, actually, so you'd hope so, wouldn't you?
I was going to say, it's not like I've got a lot to weigh it down.
But however, there's a lot of power, so they've done bits.
I wonder if it still
Fair
handles
enough.
the same way as a normal quad bike. Turn too much, you can tip
I
over.
hope it's a bit better. The next one is it's a new kit from Novitec for the 600 LT, and the 600 LT is incredible.
It's madness.
It's a McLaren, 1. 2, it's like the mix of a Grand Tourer and a race car all in one. It's almost like the mix between the 570 and the 720S in it. But
I don't know what it is about McLarens, but they just get it right.
they do.
I love
They
the
know
look
what
of
they know.
them. Everything about a McLaren. I
Amazing.
just like it. I just love it.
Yeah, and I think it looks sick. But then here we have the Novitec kit on top of that. So 688 brake horsepower, 2007 2007. 207 miles per hour top speed.
2007 miles per hour.
2007. Oh God.
And 0 to 60 in 2.8. But this is what we talk about the Lotus. If that's doing 0 to 60 in 2.8, what's the Lotus going to be doing? Like, we need to know to, you know.
0 to 60 in sub 1 second. You're there now.
In hyperspeed.
This is where it's like really slow. Somehow they've got the lightest electric hypercar, loads of power, and somehow they've made it the
They've
slowest.
buggered it up somewhere along the lines.
But yeah, no, it's basically a lot of more aero, which is all wind tunnel tested for downforce, aerodynamics, and everything. And it's obviously got the Novatec exhaust on it to make it sound spicy. Because of course they would, wouldn't they?
I imagine it sounded quite well to start with. Just with the
I
Novatec
bet,
exhaust
yeah.
on it now is... let me just
Topping
put
it
it
up.
right over the edge now.
It's the cherry on top.
Nah. But come on, if you're going to buy a McLaren, would you not buy a P1 to start with, though?
To start with.
Make your way
Just
down the order.
Yeah, make your way down the order. You start off with a P1. The
Then
road
you get the
presence.
Senna, then it sets on fire, so you get a P1.
No, that's your bonfire.
Oh, yeah. To
But
light
when
up
you're
the
camping, it's just, oh, it's on fire again.
Right, what car are you taking camping? I'm taking the bonfire. What do you mean?
Do you not see out back?
It's already on fire. We best get there quickly.
Next section it comes to is the car debate.
And here we go again. What have we got this time,
Yeah,
Jack?
so I don't know how to describe these cars. I guess just like new
Modern day coupes.
yeah, modern day coupes with the Mercedes C63, which Connor has.
Yep.
Jared has the BMW M4, and I have the Audi RS5. And Jared's starting. So tell us why the BMW is better than the Mercedes and the Audi.
Well, this is more throw information.
I don't
to an
really think you
argument.
can.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to start off with the M4, it's got a 3-litre twin turbo straight six, producing 424 horsepower, 406 pound-foot of torque at 1,850 RPM. So, ish good.
Ish good.
Ish good.
Not because everything does it to 62 now. 0 to 62
Yeah.
in 4.1 seconds. 0 to 100 in 8.6. Top speed of 155 mile an hour. And I put the prices of you could go with either a non-competition or a competition pack, which the non-competition is £62,300, or if you go to competition pack, that's £65,300, with the option of either a 7-speed twin clutch automatic or a 6-speed manual, which sounds fun.
6-speed manual.
6-speed manual. Is this like the brand new ones coming out?
Yeah. All round
Which we
back.
talked about in last podcast, if you haven't
If
seen.
you haven't seen that. Yeah.
Interior stuff, sort of, well,
The
typical
same
BMW.
interior as every BMW.
I
Gloss
mean, you just take it out of an
carbon
X5 and put it in the M4, it's basically the same.
Yeah.
And the X5 was taken out of something else.
Yeah. So the only difference with this really is, well, gloss carbon fibre everywhere. Wide high resolution screen with the iDrive navigation and entertainment system, internet connection and web-based music browsing, and the
When you say
Hard.
entertainment system, please tell me you don't mean like a game system.
no,
Just sit there
it
in
is-
traffic just playing Mario Kart or something.
But then, like, so just some extra stuff that I found interesting. Like, there's an Empower app that you can connect to the car through iDrive. That shows you where you are on your GPS, but also shows you like your speed, acceleration, and lateral acceleration. So
Yeah, all the specs.
just in case you're
I
bored.
feel like that's perfect for a BMW driver.
yeah.
I'm not that much of a
How-
dickhead.
The
How
type
much-
of guy
Just
who
get
buys
this.
it will go into the pub and be like, look at my specs on my BMW. On my app.
Did I
at
tell
the-
you I drive a BMW?
And it's a manual.
Did you not hear me drive in? Did you not hear my exhaust?
To be fair, the M4 does sound very nice.
I mean,
Yeah.
most BMWs sound beautiful.
And I think on the outside it looks nice as well.
It's
Very
just, it's just a
aggressive.
typical BMW though, isn't it? It's just typical BMW layout. It's just your bog standard BMW with an M4 badge just stuck on it with more
Yeah.
power.
And for YouTube listeners, you'll see, for audio listeners, the engine bay, what is that? It's just a little cover and a mess.
Yeah.
Isn't that most engines now with all
But
the
that's
electronics on it?
just
A
true,
cover and a
yeah.
mess.
That's just very German though.
It is. It's
Like they fill
Even
every.
puts the engine cover over here. Yeah.
They just put
function over form.
They just cram everything into every space they can find.
I mean, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do.
Right, Jack, you're up next.
I have the Audi RS5, which I also
Nice.
think is a very nice looking car. So, the RS5 is 444 brake horsepower, twin turbocharged, 2.9 litre V6, and it has an 8-speed automatic gearbox and a 4-wheel drive system. In the coupe.
Well, I'd expect that from the thing saying Quattro on it.
Yeah.
Well, it just says
Very
Quattro
true.
right in the bumper.
See, this is 63,000 standard, and then if you want the carbon edition, it's 76,000.
Jeez.
Yeah. 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. Top speed of 174.
You've outdone me there.
Yeah. And 32.5 miles per gallon.
I think the BMW one is like you don't know the miles per gallon
Because it's a BMW.
it's a BMW.
But no, the whole new Audi facelift kind of thing, they've done it with a lot of their cars. I've got to say I'm a bit of a fan.
Really?
I like it.
I do like it, but the grill's a bit too big.
The grill. It just
The
reminds
back-
me of a honeycomb. I just don't like it.
I'm not a fan of the back, but the front is... I actually like it,
I
yeah.
just-
And the Nardo grey that Audi do is... Oh, it's class. Interior-wise, I don't think there's anything special.
There's nothing special about it.
It's
Is there
very
really?
Audi.
It's just your stand. Like you said, it's just your
Standard
standard
German,
Audi,
yeah.
innit?
Yep.
But I mean,
Overall,
you're
it's a
driving an
solid
RS5
car.
at the end of the day. You
It's
can't complain
fast,
too much.
It looks nice.
Well, it better look nice because they're going to be really far up the backside of someone on the motorway.
Bit of indication. Get out my way.
Down my way. But I mean, if I saw that coming up behind me, I'd move. I'd happily move. Look at it. It looks sick.
Just to see it go past in.
Oh no, but then you see the rear end.
And then you throw
And then
up.
you think I should have got in front.
Then you
Should have
think,
sat in front.
I should have stayed there. I've just noticed something with that car. It's got exhaust baffles right in the tips for the loudening effect. They didn't hide that one well.
I was more
Just chuck 'em in
concerned
there, don't worry
about-
about it.
What are the little vents next to the rear
It's
headlights?
call your lights.
Call that indicator.
There's obviously some purpose to them, but
There must be. Unless it's something to do with the
is
air
it to
in the
take
rear
air out? I was gonna say,
fenders.
to take air out the rear wheel arches or something.
It's
but-
German, so it will work, whatever it is.
They're in there for very
What it
good
is, though,
purpose.
I don't know.
No. No one knows.
Now,
Unless you was in that wind tunnel with them when they was doing it, you ain't ever gonna know.
Unless you stick your fingers like through
Right.
the holes.
go
I
on,
think
Connor.
this is the group favourite.
lay
Can
us,
you just say?
lay us to rest.
The Mercedes C63 AMG.
AMG.
Starting off, 469 brake horsepower. Selling price, if you was going to buy one brand new, 67,000. Sort of bit
In the
less than I
middle,
was
yeah.
expecting for a Mercedes, because you know they like to overprice everything. And then 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds.
Oh.
Comes with a 4-litre twin turbo V8.
How do they get such
Really?
a slow 0 to 60 out of such a big engine?
I don't know, it's Mercedes. They probably went for luxury more than speed.
That is a poor 0 to 60 though.
Yeah, but you're driving a Mercedes, and the way it looks, especially with that matte black, just look at it.
It's
look at
a
it.
very, very, very.
And then
good
if we
looking
go
car.
to the interior, got a full leather interior with the AMG performance seats, which just look amazing.
Yeah, they know how to do interiors, don't they?
And then they just look great. And
Oh, look at that.
then you get your 10.3-inch display panel with all your controls on it. You got surround system with Bluetooth and Apple CarPlay. And then getting into a bit more technical, you got electronically controlled limited slip diff, rear slip
Yeah.
diff, with AMG ride control suspension and adaptive dampeners to go with. So when you're putting down all that power from that V8, you got the suspension to react with you to make
I
sure
love
you're
all
doing
the-
everything you need to do.
That big carbon interior.
I just like that
trim
it's got a
piece.
ton. It's just got a small little wristwatch-sized clock right in the middle.
Oh, and it's
Just look at it, man.
all the exhaust, all the.
I'd love a C63. Come on, just look at
Oh,
it for
it
God's
is one of my
sake.
dream cars.
No.
How am I supposed to fight for the Audi when
I
that's
was
on
gonna
the
say
screen?
this is the reason I took it, just to win the second Carweek podcast
Yeah.
debate. I just took the AMG because I knew I could get the majority vote here.
Connor was very quick in choosing the C63.
He put it. He said, "What are we gonna do?" I mentioned these, and he's like, "Okay, what three are we gonna do?" He mentioned the three we was gonna do. I was like, "Right, I'll take the C63 straight
away. He took it
because I knew exactly who would want it. I was like, "Nah."
I cried for nights after that.
And I could see why after looking at it. I mean, come on,
It's amazing.
C63. Do we even need to debate any more
Yes.
about the the bog standard BMW and the Audi RS5? Come on.
I think it is worth noting how surprised that. I mean,
So
the
what-
Audi and the BMW are faster.
So what is everyone's break horse?
The BMW.
What is everyone's?
Mine's
break horse?
444.
424.
469. So I
That's-
got
He's trumped us there.
more break horse, but I've got a slower 0 to 60. Mine was 4.9.
That's
4.1.
What was it? 3.1?
4.1.
4.1?
3.9.
3. So you all got a whole second quicker.
I know, a whole second. That's why I was surprised.
Yeah, but then when we get into that top rev range, just see you later, mate.
What's your top speed?
I couldn't find. I didn't
Yeah.
look for the top speed.
It's Mercedes,
I'll have a
so
quick-
it's not going to be like
I'll have a
properly
quick look now.
limited, is it?
I'll have a quick look.
What's
now.
yours? 155.
155.
Do you know what I think that is though? I mean,
They
maybe
probably
this.
limited it.
Yeah, because I feel
All
like
BMW, all German cars are limited at 155 though, aren't they? Or most of, like BMWs are.
apart from mine.
Most like
But
BMWs.
I
are
feel
limited.
like a BMW M4 is a way more consumer car. A lot more
Yeah.
people who don't know how to drive, but aren't used to driving a fast car will buy that, which I think is probably the reason that they limited it, because you don't want loads of people running around at more than 150.
I mean, especially with the autobahn in Germany, everyone's gonna be
Mm.
like,
Especially
let's
with
go.
a manual.
oh god, could you imagine the crashes in the in Germany? Just everyone
In
unlimited
M4s.
BMWs and Mercedes just going straight for it.
Yeah.
I do admire the manual though.
Yeah.
I think
I
the
do think
manual
that
is
is a good option to bring in.
one.
And
It's one thing
I-
everyone lacks though, isn't it?
I'm a fan of manuals, but honestly, I don't see a manual fitting in the C63 ever. I don't think it should have one. Like ever.
Now, it wouldn't
I
work
Do you
with
think
a
it would?
Mercedes.
would want one personally.
No, I just don't think it would be
Oh,
able
it
to
would-
lay down the power like it does.
It probably wouldn't be able. It wouldn't have the performance.
It wouldn't feel like
wise.
an AMG.
It wouldn't have the performance wise at all because it wouldn't have.
It would
just
have the fun, though.
transmission and everything, but you'd have more fun.
But
I
the-
reckon
the
with a
thing is-
manual.
Because it's a C63 AMG, it has enough fun. I don't think it needs a manual. It's an AMG. It's
I would like to just give it a go though. I mean,
Like, if they were to be ridiculous and make a black edition version and throw a manual in, that would be quite funny.
that'll also be worth a lot of money in the future, judging by the old one. But
I was gonna say.
who's won
I
then?
was gonna say, do we really need to take the vote here, or do I just put my hand up and say I've won? Jared?
I'm gonna say, like, I agree with both of you that, like, the Mercedes is nice, but I do quite like the M4 as well.
I
So-
do like the M4, but I just can't trump it over the Mercedes.
Jared's going for
No,
the M4.
I am more.
You were gonna
I
go
am
for
more
the
of a BMW person.
He went for the M4. I can't believe it. Jack, do I even need to ask you?
You don't.
C63. I've already said C63.
Because if I had to go out and buy one of them tomorrow, it would be the C63.
If you're gonna buy an Audi, I'll buy an RS6 over the RS5.
But that's not in the Quadbike.
Yes, I know.
Well, an M5. They are amazing.
You want
now.
an M5? Okay.
But maybe that's next Car Week podcast.
I don't know. We'll find out.
M5 RS6.
Have to find out. Tune in next week on Wednesday.
What can we say?
I think that's all for everything today. If we all wrap up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we've covered the motorsport, German, Hungary Grand Prix, car news. We've learned about the Megane, new cars, the crazy electric Lotus, the even crazier quad bike. That's
The death
what?
machine, as I think
The
we're going to
death
call
machine.
it now. The death machine.
the beautiful 600 LT Novatec edition. And then we've had a car debate where we've come to the conclusion, which everyone probably knew at the beginning, the C63.
Is
the
always going to be
best.
the winner. So yeah, if you're listening on audio, go check out the video version at YouTube on youtube.com/carweekpodcast. If you're watching the YouTube version, you want to
Hello.
listen to it out and about, you've got us on Anchor, iTunes,
Spotify.
We've got Google Play,
Yeah, we
Google
got
Play,
Google.
Car Week Podcast again. And just check out our Twitter and Instagrams again.
For updates,
Yeah, any updates? Carweekpodcast on both of them.
Send us different ideas to talk about, ideas for the car debate, topics you want to see, anything.
Just anything related. Just let us know.
Anything you want to hear our opinion on as well.
Yeah,
Love to hear.
Please leave a like on YouTube. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes.
Helps out.
It will help a lot.
It'll help
Helps
the
everything.
reach, yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Until
and
next
listening.
Wednesday.
Yep,
Bye.
next Wednesday. See ya.
Bye.